Dear students, today I will start steam power plants or thermal power plants. Before we go into detailed study of thermal power plants or steam power plants, we will have the basic idea of thermal power plants. Thermal means related to heat energy. Here you can see thermal power plants are also called as steam power plants. It means that using heat energy, water is converted into steam, and then that steam is used to run or rotate a turbine which is coupled to a generator, and that generator produces electrical energy. So here heat energy is converted into electrical energy. So what is basic idea here? TPP means thermal power plant. You supply it heat energy. That heat energy will be converted into electrical energy. The amount of heat energy required to produce electrical energy in large quantity is also very large. So for such plants, that is thermal power plants, heat energy is supplied by burning coal. So it means that coal is burnt heat energy is produced and this heat energy is given to boiler to the boiler. Water is supplied, and this water supplied taking the heat here becomes steam, and this steam will be coming at very high pressure. Steam at high pressure. Okay. It is given to turbine. From turbine, steam comes out at low pressure. Because in turbine, the energy of the steam is taken to rotate the alternator. And alternator produces three-phase energy. When energy from the steam is taken in turbine and converted into electric energy, the energy content in the steam reduces, that is, its heat energy reduces, and the steam starts getting condensed. When the steam gets condensed, the pressure will decrease and the steam will become low pressure steam. This is very basic idea of thermal power plant. Later on you will be studying detailed block diagram of thermal power plant. Here what you can see is open loop system. That means nowhere the loop is completed. It starts here and it ends here. End point or some other point in between is not connected to starting point or some other point of the system. If so connected, then the system will become closed loop system. But actually in thermal power plants you will be finding some closed loops. To improve the efficiency of thermal power plant, some of the quantities will be reused. That we will study when we draw actual block diagram of the thermal power plant and see the actual working of it. Now we will see the selection of site for steam power plants. Following are the factors to be considered for the site selection of thermal power and installation of its equipments. First factor to be considered is availability of land, on reasonably cheap cost. For present, for presently installing the equipments and future expansion. See, thermal power plant capacity may be increased by adding generators and turbines and associated equipments. So, if capacity is to be increased, then the land required will be more. So, for future expansion also, land should be available at reasonably cheap cost. B, availability of sufficient and suitable amounts of good boiler feed water and cooling or circulating water for condensators. See, water is much required in thermal power plants to feed the boiler, in which water gets converted into steam. And when the steam comes out of the turbine, we need to condense it. We need to condense it. So, for condensation purpose also water is required. To cool various equipments in the power plant, water is required. So, water that is available in that site should be of good quality. Good quality means it should not be either too acidic or basic, or it should not be very hard water, and so on. Availability of fuel. And its cost. Delivered to the boiler furnaces. The fuel used may be gas or coal, and to bring that coal or gas to the site selected, certain transportation cost will be there. The transportation cost should be minimum. In such a way, we have to select this site. If thermal power plant or steam power plant is long away from the sources of fuel, then the delivery cost will be very high. So the site should be close to the site should be close to the sources of fuel. The availability of access to the site. The site should be easily accessible. The site should be away from the urban areas due to pollution due to pollution The pollution is air pollution and sound pollution, both. Because thermal power plants are very noisy in their operation, they produce huge amount of noise. The site should be so selected that the initial cost of plant becomes less. Availability of other power services. See, during construction, lot of electrical power will be required. Without that, construction becomes impossible. Once the power plant is constructed, power will be generated by the plant and that can be used. But before construction, there should be some other power service available.